let's go on to the phone lines and speak with the former ambassador to the U.S. As well, Honorable Halima Mahama, and she was basically in that consulate. Let me just, give you some updates of a contract. First of all, let me welcome Her Excellency. Her Excellency, you're welcome to Good Afternoon, Ghana. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. So I told you earlier that I actually listened in to your interview with multimedia and heard a few things. But had you been following what the foreign minister had been giving or updating the public and parliament over the period, did you follow it?
Not after my interview. Before my interview, what he said in parliament, yes, I followed that. I heard him.
Okay, can you speak up a bit for me so that I can...
No, I'm saying that not after my interview, but what he said in parliament, I heard him. And that's what I've been responding to.
Okay, all right. So now I have the contract that the embassy signed with the Ghana, with the company in question. And then it says that Travel Ghana Secure Data Center and then general contract for services. It says that this contract for services, this contract is made effective as of January 1, 2023 by and between Embassy of Ghana the address is there, let me jump that, and Travel Ghana Secure Data Center for 438, and the address is also there. Now, in this contract, the party who is contracting to receive services will be referred to as the EOG, and the party who will be providing the services will be referred to as the TG/SDC. Now, just basically tell me how this contract came about. I'll ask you a follow-up question after your response.
Okay, but let me start by saying that I heard the minister, and there are two sides to what he's saying. Minister's decision to conduct an investigation about some practices being problematic. I have no problem with that. Every new government decides to review certain things, and I have no problem with that. With that specific thing, when the report investigation is done, I will encourage that the investigation should be done. I would like it to be done. If there are some specific issues that I have to respond to, then I'll respond to them. So that's one side. I have no problem with the investigation. But my concern is the minister's statement in parliament that I signed a contract that sought to legitimize palpable wrongdoing. So that's what I'm going to talk to. The contracts are signed with the company that you just mentioned, was to get the company to provide the spice services for people, applicants who decide to choose the services of the company. It was optional. It was not mandatory. If they choose their services, fine, then they will click and go to them and conduct their business there. And what was their services? To retrieve their passports that the visas have been issued on, or the passports that have been issued, and ensure that they dispatch the passports to them. So they're taking this responsibility for the applicants. The other option would have been for the applicants to send self-addressed envelopes to the embassy, or tell the embassy will pick up. Some people within the DC, Maryland, Virginia area, they come to pick up. And those options too are there. So this particular contract, Ghana government does not incur any expense. We do not pay $1 for that matter for this particular contract. And the applicants have a choice to do that. And it's stated clearly in the contract. And Ghana government too has also stated clearly that we are indemnified if there are some issues arising from this relationship that the applicants conduct with the company, It's the responsibility of the company to flow through, track through, and ensure that they deliver. If they don't deliver, they can be charged by the applicants. Ghana government has not come in. And further on, I want to explain clearly that this service that we ask the company to go on doing is not service that Ghana government does. Ghana government is not involved in dispatch business. We don't do business. We don't receive any monies for people for their dispatch. They send in their self envelope. At best, the driver will just drop it at the various stations. Ghana government is not, and has never been in that business for that matter. So he who decides to use the services of the applicants sets up their relationship with the applicants. Embassy did not give him a contract to do any other thing apart from dispatch of passports that in which visas have been issued. That's all. And it's not a job. It's not as if he's taking a job from the embassy and therefore he's taking money that would have come to the embassy. No, we don't. Embassy is not involved in that in the courier services business.
Any other services that this company offers an applicant that is not the business of the embassy? The embassy does not send people to go and conduct other services with the company. It's only with the courier services that the embassy, contracted the company to engage in.
That's the situation. Thank you. That's it. Clearly, that's the situation. Hello.
But,
yeah. That's the situation. It's only pick up passports that we have issued or passports that we have issued the visa in and dispatch. And you only pick them after the applicant has opted that they want to use their service. That's all.
So when the applicant opts to use your services and maybe in the end the passport is not it gets lost along the way, doesn't get delivered and all that, who takes the consequences?
As part of the services, they set up a verification and a tracking system. So the company will have to then track the process where the passport went. And if it is the main courier service, FedEx, UPS, or whatever else, they will contact them and ensure that they retrieve the passport, or ensure that UPS does the right thing. And I understand. This is something I know, but I can't give the facts and figures. Sometimes people have had problems and they have made claims on FedEx and have been paid for other loss of passport or some other delays that they think they deserve to be compensated for.
So, should applicants seem to be having some quasi agreement with a second party?
Yes. They choose to have that agreement with the second party.
Are they aware of this?
Yes. When you fill a form for passport, for visa, it's there on the embassy website that you have the option to send your self-addressed envelope with the right postage, everything. And when everything is completed, embassy will mail it to you. You also have the option of using a company, link up with that company so that the company will dispatch your document to you. And some people will call to say, look, I'll come and pick up my document. So I'll follow up to find out, I'll call to find out when the passport is issued or when the visa is issued, and I pick up. So those are the three options.
Okay. So with this contract that was signed, was it an annual renewable contract, or it was for a period of maybe 3 years? Because this was signed in 2023.
We stated clearly that it is on until the embassy decides otherwise. So it could be abrogated anytime.
All right. Now, are you aware of who owned the company we signed with? And that is
yes.
Ghana Travel Travel Ghana Secure Data Center.
Yes.
Who owned it?
Fred Quarton in partnership with others, Fred Quarton.
So when you got into office in 2021, did you take retrospective reports of maybe possible issues Fred Quarton himself had gotten himself involved in? Because we also have the internal query of Fred Quarton having tampered with, the IT systems of the embassy and was queried for that. We haven't seen his response of the query. Are you aware of all those issues that came up?
Yes. Quarton has been working with the embassy on and off on a retainer basis since 2013. But this patch of passport business transaction started in 2019. Prior to that, or around that time, he was also, before Ghana went completely digital, and he since provided the application form online for people seeking visas to fill online. The ambassador then, I was informed, asked Fred Quarton to develop an online application for visa, an online form for visa application. And he did, and posted it on the website, and added certain things for feedback. If people fill the form and they have an issue, this is an opportunity for feedback. So he was queried on that. He was queried on providing extra things on the web, but not because he was instructed to develop the online application form. Yes, he was queried on that, and I had the information. But
so the letter actually read. So the letter read. It has come to the notice of management of the embassy that in September 2019, you modified the embassy's website in respect of visa passport acquisition process without necessary express approval. So having done that without an express approval, that was a criminal activity.
Yes, I'm saying that this was 2019, and the feedback I got when I went to the embassy and I asked what happened, I was told that they had a management meeting with the head of chancellery who provided that query, the head of consular service, and the ambassador then for explanation. And an explanation was given, and they proceeded.
So the ambassador gave the explanation and vindicted.
That was the issue. Yeah.
Okay, so he sought to make Fred Quarton look clean at the time you got in.
Yes, at the time I got in, I'm not. What's her name? Annie, right?
Yes.
I'm not here on phone to defend Fred Quarton or say this or that about Fred
yes.
Quarton.
Mm-hmm.
I'm coming to tell you, I'm here to accepted your interview to say clearly that what the minister said, that my contract purported to legitimate probable wrong, was totally false. And he further on went to talk about monies being spent to the tune of 4.8 million. And he has to say that it's false. And they can do the investigation. I'm hoping them to that. But I'm not here to say that how many years interaction that Fred had with the embassy, this or that, or when I went,
I think
done that investigation.
Yeah, I haven't really sought the clarification from the minister, but I want to believe that he came to that conclusion because Fred Quarton, by history and by the documents before him or on his table, was involved in other issues which he didn't expect you to extend or sign a new agreement with him, which is why we're here today.
Yeah, what does that agreement say? That agreement, in any case, if you look at the face of that agreement, I'm emphasizing, signing of that agreement did not in any way make Ghana government lose a cent.
Okay.
It did not in any way make Ghana government lose a cent. He was to take passports despite the passport. And there was a history to that. It facilitated the work of the embassy. It didn't make Ghana government lose a seat. That's the point I'm making. And I will emphasize on that point. If they do their investigations with on his work with the embassy on that, I have no problem with that. But where he says that I signed a contract that purported to legitimize possible wrong.
Yes.
And further on, went to talk about 4.8 million, which is false. That's where I'm addressing. Those are the two issues I want to clarify.
Yes, he said 4.8 million Ghana cedi. Ghana was losing annually through the hands of Fred Kwating's company.
Through what means? They just throw in statements would have given where from the 48 and how did that happen? I mean, he needs to come out with more. If it is Ghana government embassy, we only have 3 revenue avenues: visa fees for visa applications, fees for passport, fees for visa issuance. That's one. Fees for passport issuance and attestations. Like some people, if they come for witnesses of documents or witness cops to be brought to Ghana and all those. That's all 3 areas, period. There is nothing for fees for dispatch. We don't involve in that. We don't do that.
Okay, so you said you listened to his statement, but let me okay, allow me just read an excerpt. Let me see if you'll be able to identify. Since you listened to him, he said that following the COVID-19 pandemic, the mission adopted a fully online mailing system for visa and passport dispatch managed by Fred Kwating. Under this arrangement, applicants were offered delivery options via FedEx and UPS. For the USPS, for which they were charged a whopping $29.75 each. Additionally, GTC also aids applicants in completing visa and passport forms for a fee of $60 to $100 per an applicant. Mr. Speaker, it will interest you to know that 99% of all applicants utilized the GTC, meaning 99% of all applicants paid an extra $29.75. Investigations also revealed that GTC dispatched between 150 to 350 visa passports daily. Therefore, on the average, about 250 visas passports were dispatched daily by GTC.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
The embassy does not do up to 200 visas a day. We don't. So it's not even true that he can. But let me hear your specific question.
How many do they do?
We have right now we have a new application software called Tanguna software, and it's kind of slow. We can't do more than 120 a day.
100 a day.
20, yeah. Maximum 120 a day. So we are not able to do 200 a day. So first of all, that is false.
And so even the figures, Honorable
the
Minister,
statement that he made. What is your question on that statement?
You were asking how he came to the conclusion that Ghana was losing about $48 million annually to the company. And I just read an excerpt of his breakdown of the findings that he followed through.
Maximum passport. The maximum visas that we issue in a quarter, not more than 12,000. So in a year, the highest we can ever do 48,000. And we don't even do 48,000 all that time. And we charge between $100 and $200, depending on whether single or multiple visa, expedited or ordinary service. So if you take 48,000 passports, which will never reach. So if you take 48,000 passports and multiply it even by his 29.35, you will not get 4 million. You will not get 2 million. You not get 2 million. So I'm wondering where he's got that figure from. If he is looking at what is stated that he's charging for documentation support, I cannot talk to that because that is not my contract. That's not the contract that we gave him. We didn't even contract to do any documentation support. I'm talking about what the embassy said he could do: pick passport and dispatch after we have issued the visa in the passport, pick them and dispatch. Or after we've issued a passport, pick and dispatch. That is what the embassy is concerned. If he was doing documentation services, that is between him, his company, and the individuals who go there. Documentation service in the US people do is very popular. So if he was doing it, it has nothing. What I'm trying to say is that my contract did not give him any sex service. My contract just said pick up passports and dispatch, and that is optional. People who click and decide that they want to use private service, their passports, you can pick them up and dispatch. People who use self-addressed envelope, the embassy will just send the driver and they will take them to the FedEx or whichever courier service that is asked for. People who say they want to come to the embassy to pick up, we'll hold them, they will call. If my visa ready, we say yes. They say, okay, can I come and pick up? Yes, come this time and pick up. They come and pick up. So whatever
was the embassy's work that effective? There were a lot of complaints also coming from, not just the Washington, but other embassies where there were, too many issues of Ghanaians complaining they were not receiving their passports were getting missing, and a lot of that. Did you record most of them?
For the 3.5 years that I was there, those complaints ceased.
They ceased?
Those complaints were very minimal. I don't have, in the past, they would even come and demonstrate, make a lot of issues on that. There were no problems when I was there. And that's why 2023, I decided to formalize it, at least have a document. So passport services, delivery services improved in the embassy.
Did you see, you talked about auditing, that you don't know why, and you thought that it's his imagination that he was probably using to call some of the figures. But he also stated that about 2 years ago, the Auditor General raised concerns that was stemming from that particular embassy, the Washington, D.C. Did it also come to your table? It says that the investigation also revealed that Auditor General's office raised concerns about the embassy's operations and financial management some 2 years ago. Specifically, the audit findings highlighted issues with procurement practices and financial accountability, which seemed to have been ignored or inadequately addressed. And 2 years ago, you were in office.
If he raises that issue, we have to look at the auditor's document. When auditors come to an embassy or any ministry for that matter, they come and look at the processes and they have a management report and they will advise, do this way, do this way. There were some issues that they will come and at the end of their term, they will provide, at the end of their function, they will provide a report. And we will sit with management and they will take us through it. It wasn't a perfect system. Sometimes they'll say this and this and this and correct us. But it wasn't an issue that was so overbearing that auditors could do that. No, it wasn't a big issue. For example, they will say in procurement in Ghana, you should have 3 invoices. And we will then tell them that, and we will explain to them that in the US, it's very difficult to get 3 invoices. When they prepare an invoice, they charge you for it. And for them, preparation of invoice means we have offered them a contract. So sometimes we have challenges in that regard. But this has nothing to do with what he's talking about the contract that I gave for dispatch of documents. And as I indicated, the services have been going on. He's been dispatching documents since 2019. I observed, management briefed me and they were for it. We even had reviews and everybody was for it. So 2021, 2022, 2023. I said, look, why don't we have some documentation clearly? And I'm even interested in the indemnification clause for embassy, so that if a passport is lost or damaged, you will be held responsible. The client will hold you responsible. Those were the issues.
So having that clause, in the contract, you may have done some background checks on Fred Kwarteng before signing this agreement with him.
Specifically on the dispatch, yes. For the dispatch, it was going on well. I had no problem with the dispatch.
And you were satisfied with his delivery, or his outputs.
I cannot talk about everything of the embassy.
Yeah.
I would say everything of the embassy was perfect, but I'm talking about specifically the contract that he mentioned. And I'm saying, I went there 2021. He was providing this dispatch services since 2019. 2019, 2020, 2021. When I went there, the management came to convince me that it is effective. And I said the management, the head of chancery, the head of consular service, and the administration, that the mailing system is effective for us in the embassy. I said, fine, let me observe. 2021, it was going on, 2022. I said, yes, but he's doing this mailing system. There's nothing on paper. Let's put something on paper. You never know what will happen, and Ghana will be held responsible. That was the essence of it all.
Okay.
Are you with me?
Yes, I'm with you. Okay.
So that's the essence of it. But if you want to talk about, there were issues in the embassy, do his investigation and sort out the issue. But for him to say my contract cost something, no, in fact, he is rather probably wrong. He is probably wrong, probably false. So that's the point I want to make.
I'm sure the investigation will, help all of us. But maybe the final issue I want to raise with you. He said that in 2020, the ministry entered an agreement with EMH Global, which was renewed in 2024 to standardize websites of selected missions, now including the Washington mission. However, these attempts were rebuffed by the Washington mission to avoid accountability and transparency. So within that period, the Washington DC website, which was 2020, when you were not there, was not allowed, the office did not allow the EMH Global to enter the website and do the standardization as required by the Ghana government.
EMH Global, they developed the online visa application form. And that's what the Washington down about the specific website. They sent a message to the embassy that they will come to do the website. And agreed, come in. And they had not come to do it yet.
All right.
And I never told ESIMS or wrote to ESIMS that no, don't come to do it. We said come and do it. So that's also another falsehood. If they didn't come to do it, they are residents in London. And
no, it was actually in 2020, not 2021.
Yeah, but I'm saying I was informed that ESIMS will come to do it. We said yes, come and do it, but they haven't come to do it.
Yeah.
But we are working with ESIMS because we are using the visa application online form that was developed by ESIMS. That's what is on the website that we are using.
All right. Her Excellency, if you don't have any more comments, I'll leave it here. I'm grateful for your time.
My main point is that visas, passports are issued, passports are issued, and all that they do, and my contract says is pick them up. It was a process since 2019, pick them up and dispatch. And applicants have an option to do that. And Ghana government does not receive money. We don't benefit financially from such dispatch. We don't benefit from such dispatch. So we cannot lose money because a dispatch service is done by a different company. It's not done. And if you're talking about documentation service, it's not a service that was part of the contract. It's not. So that's a different matter. And there are a number of companies doing documentation service for people who want visas in different embassies, including Ghana embassy. The embassy has nothing to do with that. We just want you to fill your form, submit your form, get your visa. If you want to pick it, fine. If you want to send a self-addressed envelope, we mail it to you. If you choose a company to do the dispatch for you, that is your business. That is all. We don't pay. For example, somebody drives in to pick up the form, to pick up the visa, the passport. We don't pay you lorry fare. So there's nothing like monetary relationship between the embassy and anybody or any company with respect to dispatch of passports.
Your Excellency, I'm grateful for your time this afternoon. Thank you so much. Thank you.